Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good, and we have good in abundance, overflowing. It get double good. It's good today because you are going to be involved with transformational energy from two of the most dynamic, wonderful, emerging beings who will enable you to ascend higher and higher and higher. Welcome to the Keep Smiling Show with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. And you have tuned into the show consciously and conscientiously for one reason and one reason only. And it's great. It's the best reason in the whole world because you care the most in the entire world about you. Y-O-U-E-W-E, you, which is great, by the way, because when you care the most about you, you can become the best you possible. And the world needs you. When you're the best you make the world a better place. And that's, of course, what we all want. You create more harmony. You create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world when you're the best you possible. And you know, at this moment, you are joined by over 349,613 people around the world, all of whom are tuning in and using that energy to become the best you so we can create a joy surplus in the world instead of a joy deficit. And because we work with the three fundamentals of life on this show, that's why you tuned in. And the three fundamentals, of course, are number one, life, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, you can go mad. You know, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. Lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to uncover and unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Such a simple example, www. Like this show is carried over the internet around the world. Mythical, magical, mysterious platform. Ask anybody, what does WW stand for? And they'll tell you invariably has to do with the internet. And factually speaking, they're correct. But in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, WWW stands for, drum roll, fanfare, da-da-da-da. What a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? W-H-A-T-A. And of course, a big tip of the hat to Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, for enabling that song to go viral and touch not just tens of millions or hundreds of millions, billions of people around the planet. And whenever you hear the opening bars of that song, you can't help but smile, right? Now, SMILE is a great acronym. It stands for Seeing Miracles in Life Every Day. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, prior to the pandemic, and God willing, we'll be through that very soon, I was speaking to an audience in person. Can you imagine that? 5,200 plus people in the audience in person, no mask, real human beings. We'll get back there again. And I'm telling the stories about Barry Shore and seeing miracles in life every day. People raise their hands and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours, Ray. I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you see? Can you stand? I can't. Can you walk? And can barely. Do you have water, drink, food to eat, place, sleep, family, friends? All of those, every single one is a miracle. What's the simple proof? Simplest proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching, you're listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation. You have life. You have an obligation to live exuberantly. Now, imagine the following. Standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that night being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. That's me. Overnight, not an automobile accident, not a spinal injury, a rare disease took over my body. I never heard of it the day before, and I became a quadriplegic. Nothing on my body moved. 144 days in the hospital. 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home. I couldn't turn over by myself. 4 years in a wheelchair, or various wheelchairs. I had braces on both my legs, my hips to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand made for me by a Zen master. But so I'm a triped, not a biped. I still can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. And I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. And it's all because of this one word, smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? And I thought about it. Smile, smile sounds the same. I asked her, how come? She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of babes, an 8-year-old. What was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a wonderful acronym. It stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Rethinking, neuro-linguistic programming. Thank God you have a brain. Your brain has 100 billion plus brain cells and 120 trillion synapses connecting them all. And they're there for more than deciding what kind of latte you want this morning. The ability to choose in life is the greatest of all abilities. Now, I do have to interrupt and warn you in advance that your humble host, Barry Shore, does use a lot of 4-letter words. Now, of course, in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, the 4-letter words we use are love, hope, free, gift, which you're going to be getting free gifts, free, gift, pray, play, swim, grow, like. Those are 4-letter words. And I even use the FU 4-letter word. I do it because of the shock value and the fun. Now, the 4-letter FU word that we use is fun. Fun, yes. FU, capital N, capital N. People say, Barry Shore. Fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world. The world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Fun is spelled FU, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends. You have a twinkle in your eye, a smile on your face. Remember what SMILE stands for. You point your finger at everybody and say, FU, everybody. But you have to add right away, capital N, capital N. I said, where'd you get that? I said, I listened to Barry Shore on the Keep Smiling show. He wants to teach the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. It's a great way to start a conversation and talk about grow and hope and being positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Remember it. And the result of all of that is you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. I guarantee it. Or your money back. Now, before we bring out our amazing 2 beings, you're going to be literally swept off your feet and transformed into a rocket ship soaring into the great space of love and life and hope. I'm going to ask you, I want you to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. If you use these 2 most powerful words in the English language, you're going to transform yourself, your family, your friends, and all living beings. And these 2 words are, drum roll, fanfare, da-da-da-da. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. The Dalai Lama has been quoted as saying, I read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. And he says, it's always possible. Now, let's imagine, go back to our coffee shops, no mask, completely go in, real human beings. You walk in the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte for $5, sit down, somebody brings it to you. You say, thank you. You walk in the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte for $5, you sit down, a few minutes go by, nobody brings it to you. You go to the counter and say, I'm sorry, we forgot, we're so busy, we'll bring it to you. You go sit down, a couple of minutes go by, and somebody brings it to you, still say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, somebody holds the door open for you. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop and it's raining out. Somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You're in traffic, you're late for an appointment, somebody cuts you off. You say, thank you. You get into the middle of the night, you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, thank you. To harmonize and network kindness. Kind is a wonderful word that stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. Now, if I had to choose 2 people on the planet that inspire noble deeds, I couldn't think of 2 more wonderful, beautiful, bountiful, beloved beings than Crystal and Mark. Crystal and Mark, please say hello to 352,823 people around the world.
Hello, everybody. We're so happy to be here with you. Thank you. What a beautiful introduction, Barry. I'm blown away. You are amazing.
You are a heart-touching, soul-penetrating, really good man, and everybody out there has got to have a great heart and soul to be watching your show and just being uplifted and escalated and evolved into growth and harmony and happiness and joy and bliss and bountiful blessings.
Yes.
Wow. This guy
is little. You want me to do more?
Okay, I have a quick question. Crystal, when was the last time somebody said F you to you and you laughed?
And I left? You know what?
When somebody said F you? Wow. Like I just did.
I have to tell you, no one said F you to me in.
I just did F-U, capital
Oh,
N, capital
oh,
N.
okay, there you go. First time, right? Yeah, and I
Right.
laughed. Oh, yeah, exactly.
So if I started reading even the brief bios of wonderful Crystal and fabulous Mark, it would take the rest of the show. So all I'm going to say to you, if you have been living without television, radio, the internet, books, any periodical, and you don't know Mark Victor Hansen and Crystal Dwyer Hansen, I'm sorry, but I'm glad you're here. So now you know, because these two people not only have touched the beings of hundreds of millions of people with the books that Mark co-authored called Chicken Soup for the Soul, which over 500 million copies, and Crystal touching the hearts and the soul of tens and hundreds of thousands of people around the world with her transformational work. Again, I don't want to read the bios, it's going to take too long. Suffice it to say, these are energetic beings that together we are doing what we call love, living on vibrating energy. Yeah, now talk, oh my gosh, that's a still thought, that's a still shot. Okay, so we're going to talk today about 3 letters. These 3 letters that Mark and Crystal have found will enable you to transform your life. 3 letters, they form a word. And these 3 letters are A-S-K. Ask. Ask. And I'm going to ask, actually, with permission, you go first, wonderful Mark, because it's age before beauty, as we say. If you would be, if you would be kind enough to just begin the process of why it is that you chose the word ask. I know it reverberated with you while you were meditating, but what is it? And let's begin to unpack it, unravel it, and share it with this remarkable worldwide audience. By the way, we have literally tens and tens of thousands of people listening from China, from India, all throughout Asia, Africa. I mean, it's a big audience, and they want to know because they're under the age of 38. 88% of them under the age of 38. They may not even know about some of the stuff you've done. So what is Ask, and why are you doing this?
Well, Crystal and I trained 80 countries, talked to some 7 million people in those countries. And what we learned is you cannot get anything in life you want until you learn to ask. You got to ask to have an invention. You got to ask yourself, ask others, and ask God. And when you do, you start to ask, you create inventions, you create illuminations, you create books, you create insight, you create revelation, you create solution. And we thought, wow, this is the most underused thing because people get stopped by something we'll talk about, 7 roadblocks to asking. And we figured out the breakthrough technology that asking is a science and art and a technology that everyone can use to have a fulfilled life. And the subtitle of our book is Ask, the Bridge from Your Dreams to Your Destiny. And everyone, if you're alive and you're listening to Barry, you know you've got a great destiny. And Barry is getting here to eradicate all the stop signs.
So first of all, a huge thank you for being able to crystallize and channel the information into that clear, concise, compelling way. I want to ask in just a moment, ask Crystal to do something about this. I want to go back to what you said, though, fabulous Mark, and that is I've spoken about this on other shows. I'll mention it now again. The 6 most important words that anybody will ever hear, learn, internalize, and utilize and leverage in life. These 6 words are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. And I posit that choice and ask are related. The choice is maybe, let's say, a thought process. Ask is that verbalization of the thought process, and it creates the concrete reality. When you articulate words that have been sitting in your mind, you literally create the bridge, as you said. I'm looking at it as a Japanese style bridge, that nice one that's in the harmonious, tranquil gardens. So wonderful. Crystal, would you be kind enough to go to the area that Mark mentioned about 7 areas that block people? What are those 7? Let's just pick any 1 or 2 of them and let's discuss them.
Right, Barry. So the truth of it is most of us are creating our life by taking in the cues from our external world. And we have these experiences and they're traumatic, and we have emotional residue that's living inside us, and we don't even realize that emotional residue is actually creating programming in our brains. Okay, because our brains are really a storage system for what happens in our lives. But the cool thing about our brain is we can reprogram it with our mind, because our mind goes beyond our brain, right? So what Mark and I have found is that most people are living with these, what we call the 7 roadblocks. And those are unworthiness, fear, disconnection, doubt, right? Pattern paralysis. We're stuck. We are afraid to do anything different. We don't know how to do anything different. And the reason we don't is because we don't ask. And so all of these things, right, these are the things that are standing in the way to you asking for the life of your dreams. You can literally create the life of your dreams. That's the gift we were all given. But you don't create that life from looking outside of you and looking at the terrible things and the negative experiences and then replaying those again and again. The way you create the life is go inside of this beautiful space within you, because that is where the entire pool of creation is. That's where you connect to the creator. You cannot connect to your creator outside of yourself. You connect to the creator, the source of all, from inside. And then you go quietly within and you start asking. And we say that the 3 channels, like Mark mentioned, through which to ask are ask yourself, ask others, and ask God. Asking yourself helps you connect to every potential within yourself, your greatest potential. Asking God helps you understand what your purpose is in this existence, this earth, this university of life. And asking others is the way to bond with other people, because we're all part of each other's journey, no matter what. We don't realize this, and more than ever, we don't realize it, Barry, because we've been so disconnected. We're superficially connected by, the computer and internet. Exactly. But we're not really connected. And all the things that have happened in our world have forced us to disconnect more. And that's why we're hurting. We're hungry. We need this connection with each other, you guys. We are one another's greatest resource on this earth. And then God is our constant source. And it's asking yourself, asking others, and asking God. That changes everything. And that's what we're teaching in the book.
So let's go back to this mountains of not information. I want to make everybody clear on something. What Crystal just shared, and Mark as well, information abounds. Matter of fact, information overload oftentimes. What Crystal and Mark just shared is what I call transformation, because that's what you want. See, get off your ask and do something. So here's the key. And I just wrote this down because I found it to be very useful. I'm going to use it again and again. People know if you want to go to a hospital and you're really sick, you go to the ER, right? They call that the emergency room. But you gave us a better way of understanding the ER, because it's the same thing. It's the emergency room. It's called emotional residue.
Yes.
Unless and until you can disperse the emotional residue, then you are filled with the wrong kind of stuff. And the genius of what these 2 beings not only wrote about, I want to say something they can't say. They live it. See, it's one thing to write a book, and Mark knows this because he and his co-author wrote dozens and dozens and dozens of books and sold hundreds of millions of copies. I'll just make the statement: the largest selling title in the history of printing outside of the Bible. Duh! It's not, by the way, it's not Harry Potter. It's Chicken Soup for the Soul and all the different titles of it. The point is that it's not just what you read, it's what you do. Because we are our own spiritual chiropractors. Chiropractor, you're feeling like that. You go in, I'm aligned. What these 2 beings are doing is giving you the ability to be aligned spiritually. Your thoughts, your words, and your deeds. So the thoughts are about asking. The words are articulating asking. And the deeds, as they do, they live this. As you see, these are beautiful, good-looking people. Why? Because they're always looking for and finding the good. So the ER is the emergency room, your emotional residue. one of the first things we need to do, as you pointed out, is to begin to clear it away. Now, for some people, it's going to feel like shoveling a pile or shift. I have to be careful when you pronounce that F, because shift happens. Most people don't pronounce the F. I don't know why that happens, Mark and Crystal, but they think it's shoveling that. And really, all it is a little bit of a cloud that you can go like this, and it goes away. That's how simple it is when you use what they've given us, the tools that they've given us. Let's go to one of the issues you mentioned. You talk about the university of life. In my humble opinion, the greatest university of life is called adversity. That's the best university of life, because everybody goes to that university. And sometimes you get a scholarship and sometimes you pay full tuition. But the point is, everybody goes through adversity. I'd like to, if you'd be so kind, either or both of you, speak to one of that you mentioned, that people, I don't understand it because I've been through it. Now you have to be careful, because now we have to be helping others. What does it mean to think that you're unworthy? Why would anybody walk around thinking they're unworthy? Why?
Every one of us gets throttled by life, the life university, and adversity has got to be looked at as an advantage that is going to accentuate the positive in your life. When I went bankrupt in 1975, I was trying to be my teacher, Dr. R. Buckminster Fuller, Einstein's arguably best student, but I built Wall Street Record Club, Botanical Gardens. I'm a 26-year-old hotshot. I thought I'd arrived, but I was building out of PVC plastic, wrong time. And I crashed and burned so fast, I had to go to the library. I asked the wrong question. I said, oh my God, what if I go bankrupt? I go to the biggest library in the world, the New York Library. You've been there, I'm sure, when you're in New York. I get goosebumps telling you this. And I checked out a book. How dumb is this? How to Go Bankrupt by Yourself. So I read that. I go through that system. But for 6 months, I'm sleeping in front of another guy's room in his sleeping bag outside his door. And I keep remember, we say, ask yourself, ask others, ask God. I'm asking God, what is it I'm supposed to do? Am I supposed to slash my wrist and kill myself? Because suicide's going rampant right now, unfortunately, because you've got to have a destiny and ask yourself, what am I coded with at DNA and RNA at birth? Anyhow, I asked, what am I supposed to do? And God says, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to speak to people that care, like we started before the show, about things that matter, that would make a life transformative difference. Well, the next morning, the second miracle, I'm sitting down with my 3 roommates, because we're in the miracle business, you and I, the 3 of us. And I said, boys, any of you know anybody that's young, not a Broadway star, a celebrity, a lawyer, a doctor, a cotton top, being somebody with gray hair, that I could relate to, that's speaking and make money? And the guy said, yeah, there's this amazing kid. He's a few years older than you, Chip Collins. Here's my ticket. I can't go. You take my ticket and just tell him you're me. For 3 hours, this guy mesmerized the audience. Third miracle, at the end, I walk up and I say, can I buy your lunch? I need to know how to do this. He said, look, kid, chance you doing it. It's 1 in 1,000. You ain't going to make it. Anyhow, he told me exactly what to do, how to do it. I did it. And obviously, I did 1,000 talks a year for the first 3 years, made a little fortune. But people kept saying, you have that in a book. And so the first book I wrote was not this Ask book, which is the most important book I've ever written, but Stand Up, Speak Out, and Win. Into little itty bitty insurance audiences of 6, 10, 12, 20 people. I sold 20,000 copies in 1 year, made triple my income, made 20,000 times $10 each, $200,000. It got me a brand new Chrysler Cordoba with Corinthian leather. I was smoking. Corinthian leather.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I am on top of the world. And then he realized, that's not the path. But go ahead.
Anyhow, the point is, every one of us has adversity. And Napoleon Hill and Think Grow Rich said, adversity has a seed of equivalent or greater benefit. And Joseph, in the Many Color Story, says, what you meant for my harm, God meant for my good. Every one of us has got to look at this problem that we've had, just like you had to look at your life crisis, and ask, how do I get from here to there? What am I supposed to do?
Listen again. By the way, LISTEN is a great acronym. LISTEN stands for Learning, Insightful, Sustainable, Transformative Energy Now.
Love that. Love that.
The ability to listen is the corollary to ask. Because you just said, wonderful Mark, You asked the people you were with. You reached out. You went beyond yourself and said, okay, I am doing some. Ego, by the way, stands for edging God out. That's what ego is. Hey, there's more of me. Who needs him or anybody? When you understand that there's a need in life for others, Crystal, you said it beautifully, connection, not superficial, but real connection. He asked, Mark asked, he's sleeping on a sleeping bag on the floor, about to go bankrupt, or he did. But he asked and said, wait a minute, I want more. God says, okay, what do you want?
Yeah.
Duh. Well, gee, God, now that you're asking, I think all I want is a little bit of a mattress. He didn't say that. He says, I want to make a difference in life. I want to be used. I'm here to serve. Please enable me to serve. When Mark is telling us, best-selling author, made a lot of money, he was saying, I had a vehicle to serve. And what Crystal and Mark are sharing with us, I believe, by the way, SHARE stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy. What you're sharing with us is that every single unique being watching and listening has the same exact access, not denied to anybody. It does not matter what you look like, what your weight is, how tall you are, your color, your brain power, everything. Every unique being has the same access. Am I correct? So What you need to do is to ask. 3 letters. Now, I mentioned to wonderful Crystal and Mark before the show, and I'm going to try and hold it up now and see if we can get it on screen so people ask that. ASK is a great acronym that Barry Shore has in his quiver, and it stands for Always Seek Kindness. Always seeking kindness. And I urge everybody to become an asshole and thrive. So people around the world are saying, well, what are you talking about? Well, an asshole stands for always seek kindness, help others live exuberantly.
Yes.
See, part of what Mark and Crystal are sharing with us, it was that Mark asked that one person, I want to be like you. But the guy was smart enough to say, you don't want to be like me because only 1 in 1,000. He says, you want to be like you. Y-O-U. The reason people are watching, they tune into Barry Shore. Thank you. I'm humbled and honored by the vast crowd that we have. Because, the show's not about Mark, nice guy, not about Crystal, beautiful woman, not about Barry, fun guy. It's about you. Y-O-U. You becoming the best you. That's why we're here. The only reason we exist is to share what we have, to be able to say, yes, you make a difference. You're mad. You make a difference in the world. And that's the genius of being alive. Otherwise, why are you? So when you ask that question of yourself, ask yourself, okay, why? What do I want to do? Oh, I want to build a hot dog stand. Yeah. And I want to sell wine to Muslims. Well, that's not so smart. It might not work. So let's try something different. I want to sell, halal hot dogs. I'm going to go to Taliban and I'm going to be the biggest hot dog salesperson there. Whatever you want to do. The point is service. So I want to ask you, wonderful Crystal, you literally touch people's lives very deeply. Let's talk about taking something called a dream and bring it into what people call reality, and I call manifesting the dream. I have a card here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is that?
Dream big.
Big!
Yes.
That's what Crystal's going to talk to us about. When she says dream, she doesn't mean, gee, it would be nice if I could get a Chrysler, a 2001 Chrysler. Well, it's 2021. No.
Right, exactly, Barry, because the only limitations in our lives truly are the ones we're putting on ourselves, and we don't realize that. And that's part of that baggage we've accumulated. We've programmed it into ourselves, but we can wipe that clean as we start to ask these questions and then go into that silent space for the answers. And I just want to go back to, for a minute, to the time when we all came into this beautiful world, right? As these beautiful children that were perfect. We came in as beautiful, uncorrupted askers, right? We were not afraid to ask for anything. First of all, we were wildly curious, right? We wanted to know everything: who, what, when, where, why, how. And because that's the way we learned. That's the way we evolved. We were not afraid to ask how anything and everything works because we needed to know, right? And we were not afraid to ask for the things we wanted because we had a sense that everything was there for us. Because that's the truth. We came in with the truth, then we lost the truth along the way. All of these experiences start to shut us down. God gives us infinite possibility and to that place. And you find it in that place when you go inside of yourself and start asking these questions, because the answers will come to you, I promise you. But he gives us infinite possibility. Your source, however you think of source, God doesn't even care how you think. Just think of them. Think of your source because you are part of it. And when you're not thinking of it, you're separating yourself. You're unplugging yourself, right? So, we live this life. We come in as these perfect, uncorrupted askers as little children. And then depending on how we were parented, what happened in our school years, we were told, stop asking so many questions. I don't want to hear from you. Sit down until you're called upon. Don't ask.
No, never. I'm an asker. I'm an asshole.
Right, exactly. And so suddenly we get shut down, and little by little, we go to our job and they're telling us what to do, and you try to contribute and no one's interested in what you have to say.
Well, we're interested, but I need to put you on pause just for a moment because we have sponsors, very wonderful ones, who love our show and want to share what they do with the world. So we'll be right back. Put on your seatbelts, kids, because there's more Crystal and Mark on the other side of this. Don't go away. Hi, everybody. You know the story of Barry Shore, standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, in the evening, completely, totally paralyzed. And I was like that for several years. You can imagine the difficulties I faced mentally, not just physically. And it's the mental aspect that was the most debilitating and the most frightening. And I got to tell you, it wasn't easy to speak to somebody. And I did. I finally did. I spoke to several people over the course of a number of years, and it helped immensely. And I know that it's hard to talk about these things. By the way, did you know that suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States for all ages? About 21 million American adults have a mood disorder, and especially with depression and bipolar, there's an ability to get help. That's the genius of what we're talking about here. There is help available from what's called the dbsalliance.org. I want to tell you a couple other things. Over 47,000 Americans died by suicide in 2019. Over 47,000. And middle-aged white males have the highest rate of suicide, counting for almost 70% of all deaths by suicide. On average, about 130 suicides every day. Every day. I urge you, please get involved for yourself, for a friend, for a family member, for someone you know that may have issues. I want you to go, please, to dbsalliance.org/suicide-prevention. Okay, it sounds like a lot, but I'm going to repeat it again, and you're going to hear it, you're going to see it on the screen. D as in David, B as in Barry, S as in Samuel, Alliance, dbsalliance.org/suicide-prevention, because we can prevent. Please do so now. Imagine the kind of place you would want to shop for your favorite fur baby pet. Honest honestpets.co. Well, you found it, honestpets.co, not .com, .co. This is your go-to spot for the best, the cleanest pet treats that exist anywhere on the planet. All of the brands go through a rigorous review to make sure they meet the high standards of cleanliness, health benefits, and naturalness. This site was started by a husband and wife team, and it's veteran-owned, and that care about pets, especially dogs and cats, and coming soon, bird treats. These are very nice young people who really care about making a difference, because a portion of proceeds go to support veteran organizations with a focus on service dogs. This is the place where you want to go. You want to tell your friends this has the finest, yummiest, freshest, all-natural treats and stuff for your fur baby. So go there, honestpets.co. honestpets.co. Do it now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. That's a good-looking person. Our cup runneth over with good. And two amazing beings. Crystal, the channel of goodness. Mark, that beaming, bountiful, beloved, immortal being, sharing with us the three-letter word that literally transforms your life, enables you to bridge from your dreams into reality. Ask and you will receive. That's a biblical principle. And this show is all about you. YOU. That's why you're here. That's why you tuned in. You care about you. We care about you. And that's the genius of life. Now, I am the ambassador of joy. Joy stands for Journey of You. That's the ultimate joy, journey of you. And before we left for our commercial breaks, Crystal was waxing eloquent about telling us about the fact that as we emerged from womb into this vast space, and about to, by the way, this is a womb that's going to bring us into a more vast space for eternity, the ability to be here now, to ask of yourself, get rid of that emotional residue, to ask of others. When you do, they're willing to help, because that's what winners do. Winners help others. That's who. Helping others win is how. And then ask God, because God's the creator. It's the infinite source. You can't go wrong. It's like going to Musk and saying, Musk says, whatever you want, I'm going to give it to you, no matter what. And you say, okay, 2 billion, 5, 10 billion. Well, okay, fine, whatever you want. Imagine doing that. That's the transformational experience, not information, transformational experience that Mark and Crystal are sharing with us. So I'd like to bring it back. Mark, let's go a little deeper, if you would, in talking about where do dreams begin? How do you begin to manifest a dream? Let's talk maybe about your book, it's series of books, not even ask, Chicken Soup, because Chicken Soup touched the lives of hundreds of millions of people. Did that just happen because you sat down with a friend and you decided to write a few words on some paper?
No.
Oh, that's a good.
I love your questions. Anyhow, a dream comes from the secret place of the Most High. I mean, I had written an enormous goal, because when you go to the secret place of the Most High, deep inside your inner knower, and you get to that resplendent place of sweetness, I said, if I could be anything during this lifetime, now that I'm past the bankruptcy, what do I want? I want to be world's best-selling author. And that's why, and then Jack and I synchronized in time and space, and he said, my God, you are the best storyteller I've ever heard. And he wrote down he said my audiences wrote down 65 stories I told. Said, this is great. So, well, we got to do it as a book together. And that took us 3 years. And then we got 144 publishers all say, hit the road, Jack. That nice old line that you and I understand.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. But yeah, wait a minute.
I'm like, I'm a nice guy.
Right, but we got to repeat that. We got to repeat that for people. See, most of the people are under the age of 38. And I can tell you, I'm sorry, I do this a lot. A lot of people have never, first of all, people don't read that much anymore. We're going to start, hopefully change a lot of that. And not everybody knows Chicken Soup. I mean, they know peripherally that it exists, but they may not have read it. the point is, I want, Mark, you to say again, 144 potential publishers didn't just say, gee, that's an interesting idea, come back again. They said, no. But here's what Mark and Jack said. Okay, we say yes, because here's what they did. I want to share this with you, and then you're going to love it and you use it. Take the word no, N-O. I want you to surround it with 2 letters, a K at the beginning and a W at the end. And it stands for no. Because every time somebody said no, you know that they don't know what's going to happen. So you surround it with a K and a W, which stands for kindness and wisdom. Because you were dealing with a different space. They were dealing with a physical constraint of, I'm a publisher, I got to think this. And you were dealing with a different space. You were here to serve the world. And it had to happen. Your dream had to be manifested. Am I correct?
Totally correct. And the world's biggest movie maker, 50 Academy Awards, who is in this book, asked Peter Guber, who's did Rain Man and Rocky and Batman and still doing great movies, said, hey, Mark, you are so dyslexic that when they said no, you reversed it and you said on. And
right.
That's what we did. And then our agent fired us, Barry. He said, look, you guys, I'm not wasting another minute with you. That has to cost him $15 million. We've gone on to sell $2 billion worth of books. I've written 318 different books, other than a lot more books than just Chicken. But right now, this is the penultimate of books. If you're going to read just one book in your lifetime, and I hope you read at least one a week, but is read our Ask, A Bridge from Your Dreams to Destiny, because you have a destiny. You were coded by God at birth in it. And if you're alive, like you said at the beginning of the show, you've got to go manifest it. This is the toolbox to get you from here to there, unlike any other toolbox that exists, because it teaches the technology, the tools. It wakes you up to your unique talent to get over suicide, which is what one of your great sponsors is wanting to do. And nobody should kill themselves. They just haven't had the toolbox to ask themselves, ask others, and ask God.
I want to make everybody aware that I said I like 4-letter words. One of them is free and one of them is gift. Mark and Crystal have given us gifts. So everything you want to know about these 2 amazing beings and much more is at the website, www.whatawonderfulworld.barryshore.com. Just go to barryshore.com. Links and gifts and all kinds of stuff is there about Mark and Crystal, because they're givers. See, the joy of living can be summed up in one word: giving. When you become a giver, everything begins to unfold. That emotional residue, that shift happens. And then you clear it away. And guess what? It doesn't become empty. It gets filled with joy, happiness, peace, and love. And when you're manifesting that, you're literally building the bridge to make your dream come true. So we had the card that reads, dream big. But on the back, here's what dream big stands for. Wonderful Crystal, can you read that and tell us what it says?
I can't read that. What does it say? It's not showing up on my computer.
Oh.
Here, what does it say? It's not showing up on my screen.
Oh, okay. Doing remarkable, exceptional, amazing manifestations. Believe in giving.
I love
2 thumbs
that.
up. Yep,
Beautiful.
we love it. 4 thumbs up.
I love that.
You know why they love it? Because they are, I'm going to embarrass you kids, they are the essence of love. See, love stands for living on vibrant energy. They're living in harmony. When you're living in harmony, then you are literally resonating with the world. This is a genius that is available to every single being on the planet. Crystal, you articulated it so beautifully. Every being on the planet, it does not matter. You can be an untouchable in India. When you understand this one small item, it releases all the energy. It becomes greater than any nuclear device that was ever created by man. There is no power on earth that can prevent and stop a manifesting human being. Am I correct, Mark and Crystal? No power on earth.
So
Totally
true.
correct.
So
And let me just talk about asking that fits what you just said. Mother Teresa, at 57 years old, sees the love in this guy and sees Christ in his eyes, lifts up the untouchable, decides that she's going to start the Sisters of Charity, goes to the Archbishop and says, I'm going to start it. He says, how much money you got? She said, 3 cents. He said, get out of here. You can't start a worldwide charity with 3 cents. She said, no. She'd ask God. I get goosebumps telling you this. She said, with God, I can do anything. The point we're making here is so big. It's so profound. You've got to understand these principles. And that's why we did the principles, the philosophy, and stories to embed it so everyone gets it, so they really manifest what you just said, dream big, and overcome all their obstacles like you did. You laid in the hospital bed for 144 days, but you didn't let the disease own you. You owned a higher state of escalating consciousness so you could become ambulatory, moving again for people in foreign countries.
Because I like being vertical and ambulatory. To me is a huge thing. By the way, it's 144 days in hospital, 2 years in a hospital bed, quadriplegic. But here's the better part of the story. Since Mark brought it up, I'll tell most people, thank God we have a large recurring audience. People know this, but for the 30 or 40,000 people joining us for the first time, Barry Shaw went from being a quadriplegic to swimming. I did a lot of aquatic therapy that enabled me to move. I swim now. I swim 2 miles a day, 6 days a week. And I've been doing that for 12 years. And as of today, 8,127 miles, which, to put it in context, is where you live in Arizona, right? That's swing from Arizona to New York to Morocco, through the Straits of Gibraltar, across the Mediterranean, up to Jerusalem, down to Dubai, and over to Mumbai. That's how much I've been swimming in the past 12 years. And I couldn't move a muscle for years. So
Barry, you need to go for a Guinness Book of Records. Like, I'm world's best-selling author and world's best title guy, but you need to submit that. That is absolutely a world record, and submit it to Guinness Book. This is my homework assignment and challenge to you, because we got to get everybody that's a quadriplegic, everybody that's a paraplegic to move forward. Crystal and I just recently, before COVID, talked to 20,000 hurting people down at Fort Bliss, where I hope someday you'll talk about all the military guys that have lost something, and it frees.
Yes. I've been asking for, remember, I'm an asshole.
Yes, I love that. It's all about asking. And you know, Barry, that's how you feel.
By the way, God in my acronym book is Garden of Delight.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
So, because people think God sometimes think, oh, the old guy with the beard, and I forget that. Think Garden of Delight. What is it that I can ask from the Garden of Delight? It will be granted. I want to sum this up a little bit, because one of the things that Crystal and Mark bring to everybody is, he said so nicely, toolbox, practical tools that you can use. You don't even need a user's manual. It's like a screwdriver. If I have a screwdriver and I see a screw, I know what to do. If I have a hammer and I have a screw, it might be a little bit difficult. So people end up screwing themselves because they don't know what tool to use. Screwdriver goes with a screw, right? And then you won't screw things up because it's shift. You got to pronounce the F. And when you do that right, what happens is your life gets better because you become better, and it keeps multiplying. Here's the amazing thing. It's not addition. See, God doesn't work. He's pretty good at addition, but he much prefers multiplication.
Yes.
He really enjoys multiplication. The only reason he likes division is because it's really multiplication. Do you ever notice that? If you have one zygote and you split it, you get two, and then it keeps, really division is multiplication. So it depends on how you look at it. God knows everything is about multiplicity, exponential. The genius of Mark and Crystal is that they channel all of the energy that is available for you. Not for them, not for Barry, even though they love me. It's for you. Y-O-U, E-W-E. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people under it. And I want everybody to share this episode with 5 people. 5, that's it. Not 100, not 1,000, 5 people. That means over 1.5 million people will be touched by this. And then we're going to do something. Right now, there's a joy deficit in the world. I think everybody would agree to that, right? We can create a joy deficit, a joy surplus, and we can do it with 2 words. You ready for these 2 words, kids? Dog poop. Did Barry just say dog poop? Dog poop. We're going to create a joy surplus of dog poop, because dog poop stands for doing of good, power of one person.
Oh, wow.
Doing of good. That's what Crystal and Mark have been talking about. Manifesting. You asked, do it. Do good. Power of one person. When you realize you matter, you're mad, you make a difference, the world is transformed. The thought transforms the world. The speech transforms the world. Your actions. Next time you walk by dog poop or even things, say, wow, I love dog poop. Because I listened to Barry Shore and he had on Mark and Crystal, and these people just love shift. They talk about that. Oh, okay. We got to remember, shift happens when you use the tools, and it's all in 1 3-letter word. Ask. Ask. Always seek kindness. When you do that, the world is available to you. There is absolutely no barrier to entry. You hear this, everybody? No barrier to entry. Mark and his partner Jack went to 44 publishers who couldn't see past their nose because they used nose. They kept saying no so often that no became nose, and it just internalized into their very being. It's so much easier to say no, but when you're surrounded with kindness or wisdom, every time you hear the word no, you say, yeah. Or you become like Mark. You say on. Opportunity, never ending.
Right. Oh, I like it.
He's the best.
That's good.
Thank you. And if you look no, K-N-O-W backwards, you become a wonk. You become a wonk for goodness. So everything we're doing here today is all about you. And as they say, the 3 steps are very simple, easy, reliable. You'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to be happier, healthier, wealthier? Ever meet anybody, Crystal and Mark, that didn't want to be happier, healthier, wealthier? When I used to, like, with speaking in front of real people, I would ask, do the introduction, get people excited, and say, okay, everybody here, raise your hand. Everybody who wants to be mediocre. I didn't see anybody's hand go up.
No.
People don't want to be me. I want to be great. Well, then ask. Yes. Get the book, read it, internalize it, utilize it, because it works. The genius of what they've done is that they put together in a biblical format, because Bible is full of stories, things that will touch your very essence. And when you're touched by God, Garden of Delights, you'll ask yourself, why am I here? What do I want to do? You'll ask others, what can I do to help? 4 most important words in the English language. How can I help? How can I help? 4 words? Yeah. How can I help? You start doing that, and guess what? World open up. So it's hard to say this, but can you imagine our time has flown by?
I can't believe it.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then we're going to wrap this up for this particular show. So question number 1, you ready? Will you come back again?
Absolutely. Gosh, I mean, this has been so much fun, Barry. I feel like we could talk for days.
Well, we can.
It's been a joy to my heart. I could even feel the heart of our public that's listening, which is rare. And we've done hundreds of shows. I haven't felt that.
Okay, so we got a yes. Yay, that was very good. Okay, number 2. I'm going to give you a hug in front of 358,722 people around the world. But first, I got to tell you what HUG stands for. You ready? Okay. Harmonizing unlimited giving. Harmonizing unlimited giving. So the count to 3, kids. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here's the toughest one. I don't usually do this only for one person, but you got two. So you're going to each have 80 seconds. That's it. 80 seconds only. And we'll let Mark go first because he's older. I know that. I can see that. You get 80 seconds to answer this, Mark. What is your most fervent desire? 80 seconds.
To help 1 million people really master asking before Christmas of this year.
Crystal, what is your most fervent desire?
My most fervent desire is to help everybody see their true essence within, which is every one of you is a part of Source, and you're here for a very important reason. No one's here randomly. You're here to experience life. So it's not necessarily to make millions of dollars, whatever you want, but you haven't failed. No matter what's happened, you haven't failed. The fact that you're here is the magic. So go it within and ask. Ask all the questions that will get you to express your greatest self.
Thank you. Life, living inspirationally for eternity. And you've been listening. You tuned in consciously, conscientiously to the Keep Smiling Show with Barry Shore, your humble host, and our amazing guest, four-legged guest today. Not a two-legged guest, four-legged guest with two heads. Oh my gosh. Mark Hansen and wonderful Crystal Hansen. And they have been sharing with us about the three most important letters, the one word that makes all the difference. Ask of yourself, ask of others, ask God. And then because of that, you have been tuning in, you learned about the three fundamentals of life. Number one, life. Your life has purpose, as Crystal just said. And as a result of that, number two is, a good number two, you can go mad. MAD is a great acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference. And number three is to unlock the secrets and the power of everyday words and terms, such as WWW. What a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. Or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in. As Mark and Crystal have been sharing with us, we can create the kind of world we want to live in. Create stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Use neuro-linguistic programming because you're asking, always seek kindness. Become an asshole. Always seek kindness. Help others. Live exuberantly. And use four-letter words. But remember, since you're positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant, the four-letter words you use are life, love, hope, grow, free, give, swim, pray, play. And tell the world, F you. Remember to add capital N, capital N. People say, where'd you get that? I said, I listen to Barry Shore and the Keep Smiling Show, and he wants to teach the world to F you. And remember, remind everybody, dog poop is good. Dog poop, doing of good. Power of one person. We do that, we can move from a joy deficit to a joy surplus without printing trillions of dollars. It all depends on you. YOU. That's why you tuned in. Share this with 5 people so we can touch over 1.5 million people over the next few weeks, and use the 2 most important and powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously, 3 times a day. These 2 words are thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. And our blessing for you, Mark, Crystal, and Barry, our blessing for you is go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference.